Your live, interactive coverage with CBS Austin News begins now.
Hi, everyone. Allison, can you hear me? Uh-oh. Are we having some issues? Test, test, test. There you go. I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see.
We got you.
Okay. I can't see anything.
Little technical difficulties. All right. It's been a week. It's been a week, hasn't it?
Did you lose him again?
All right, everyone. So it seems like we're having some issues with Allison's internet connection. We've been having some issues at the station, but is she back?
Okay.
There she is.
Okay. I restarted everything. Sometimes in life we just need a restart.
Yeah. And it's been a long week with the eclipse, the hailstorm. It's been a lot. So
Did we lose you again, Alli?
Is there a delay?
No, there's no delay.
Okay, I'm hearing a delay. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go crazy here. Let's talk Austin fashion while we can. It's time to strike a pose and walk the runway, right?
yeah, that's right. We are just a couple of days away from Austin Fashion Week. It's a 3-day event this year. It kicks off at the Domain on Thursday. It's going to feature 5 runway shows with some both emerging and established designers. Tickets are on sale now. This is the 16th year for AFW. Let's bring in our guests for chats with Alli and JC, Matt Sweeney and Samantha Placencia. Welcome, and please introduce yourselves.
Go for it, Sam. You go first.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Samantha Placencia. I moved to Austin. It's been a while now, about 10 years. So I started designing over 2 decades ago. I think after I had my first child and now my second, I kind of took a pause on design. So, coming back for Austin Fashion Week and Matt giving me this opportunity is really giving me that motivation and getting me back in that creative state. So super excited.
We usually do them spring and fall. So this will kick off our 16th year. 2009 was the first one. And I think Sam and I worked together maybe for the first time. So Sam is being modest. She was on a little television show on Bravo back in the day on Project Runway. And I think that's when we first met, was maybe right after Sam had done the show. And, for me, it's just about celebrating Austin fashion designers and then beyond. Not everyone is from Austin. And really, the goal was just to kind of put Austin on the map as a place where business could get done in the fashion industry. It had just barely started in the late 2000s when we started this thing. And I really just wanted to create an event that could just I sometimes say literally hug the industry, and meaning like pull everyone together into one space and, celebrate each other and, really just celebrate kind of the talent that we have here. And lo and behold, Austin exploded in population and 1 million designers moved to town or kind of started in that time frame. And, for me, I just hope it's just a space, kind of like Sam said, where they can feel inspired and get a big runway. And my job is just to give them the space and, promote it for them and then let them do their thing.
Sam, what season were you on?
I was on season 13, so very long time ago. Kind of going back, I look at the show and I'm like, man, if I could do things differently, always the what ifs, but you're in the moment, you try hard to get there. And it was such a great experience. I learned a lot. I met some really great people and I got a lot of work after that, believe it or not. I made it halfway through the show. And I think after, I just was traveling so much, doing pop-up shops, fashion shows, and it was just a really great opportunity to meet a ton of people.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I think those reality shows, doesn't necessarily matter where you end up in the lineup as long as you just keep pushing after the show airs and Yeah, no, that's fantastic. How are you guys feeling? We're a week away from Austin Fashion Week. How are you guys feeling? Are your designs ready, Sam? Matt, are the spaces ready? How are you guys feeling?
So I think, it doesn't matter how long someone's, designing or acting or singing it, that those nerves are always going to be there, especially right before you're hitting the runway. Pretty much all my pieces are done. I'm just working on minor details, hems, little extra pieces, to kind of make sure everything's clean and crisp. And then finally going back and doing the lineup, making sure that this is the right model for this look, because that comes, that's a big factor in it. The look of a model can really impact the garment look and how it goes down the runway. So just putting all those little details together and making sure, everything's styled how I want it, just to portray my brand to the best of its ability, for sure.
Yeah, this is really fun. I know we talked a little bit before the live stream about trends, and Matt and Sam, you were both saying it's not about the trends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead, Sam. No, you're good. Go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot of designers have different inspirations, whether it's nature, music, going outside. With me in this collection, it's really going back to what inspired me from past collections. I did a showcase that featured 80% Tyvek, and it was reusable paper that, can be distressed and almost like a fabric, where it's so sustainable. So I brought a few of those pieces back into this collection, and the response I got from it was really great. I did a show with Matt, ended up winning the Bernina showcase, and that was such a fun collection. So just going back to what I can reuse, what I can inspire. I think every show I have at least one fabrication that I've used in a prior show that does well, or that I've had, a sustainable fabric rebought, reused. So a lot of things, I get inspired from, but my main aesthetic is definitely streetwear. I do a lot of, separates that are very urban. I like to do stuff that's very sporty, but still sexy at the same time. So it's a little bit of mix. Pretty much the girl that, I want to be.
Yeah, and I think from a trend standpoint, it's not so much, Austin is unique in that it's unique in every way, right? Like that's one of the reasons we all love living here. And, one of the things is that it doesn't necessarily focus on what a big global fashion magazine tells it to focus on, right? It focuses on whatever, kind of each individual's aesthetic is. And one of the things I love about it is, if you wander down, South Congress on a Saturday or whatever, and now granted half of those are tourists, but if you can pick out the locals, you're not going to see any like one specific thing. Like people in Austin just I don't feel like in general, like they're not buying something to look like somebody else. And I think everyone really does have a unique sense of style, and so they just sort of don't pay attention to what a magazine or something is telling them to pay attention to. When we first started Fashion Week, we really paid attention to that kind of stuff. Like, well, let's make sure that we're, choosing designers or talking to designers that are really focusing on that. And honestly, over the last maybe even 10 years, I just don't even look at it anymore. Like, I mean, I do, like if I'm like flipping through my GQ or something, but like, and I notice it, but I can't ever even remember what they are because it's just irrelevant, frankly, to our general aesthetic here in town. So
Matt, can you give us a preview of some of the other runways? I know Sam is part of a specific, runway.
That's a hard word.
He's a part of. But I know that there's like 5 runways that will take place over the course of the 3 days. Can you give us a bit more of like what each theme is?
Yeah. So we themed them actually for the first time in a long time. So post-COVID, we really went to all daytime shows, and that was really, if I'm being totally frank, that was really somewhat of a budget issue. We were an events company coming out of a 2 years basically of not being able to do anything, and so we were just trying to get designers back out on the runway. That's all it was. And finally, now a few years post-COVID, we're feeling much better about where we are. And yeah, you can see on the screen there. So we're back to night shows with some daytime shows. So on Thursday night, we have a show called Emerge. It's all emerging designers. I think all of them are from Texas, if I remember right. Maybe Louisiana in there. Super unique designers that really have sort of started to build a brand a little bit, but they haven't necessarily taken, step two. We hope that this is sort of step two for them. Friday, we're doing a Black Designer Showcase. We've kind of done this in the past, but this is the first time we've called it this. We've partnered with the Austin Area Urban League for several years about really trying to focus and give opportunities to Black designers, especially throughout Texas. Just incredible talent. Sam does streetwear. A lot of Black designers are pigeonholed into streetwear, but I think you'd be surprised at this show. You'll definitely see some streetwear, but you're going to see some incredible gowns and formal wear, bridal, swim. It kind of is all over the map. And then on Saturday, we have 3 shows, 2 daytime shows, one called Discover. That one actually came through our partners at Shop LC. They started a program with Round Rock ISD high school students 3 or 4 years ago. And they create a competition in kind of helping high school students sort of see fashion as a career. And it's been really, really unique. And they're going to show, I think, the top 12 students. They've already shown in a prior event, and they're going to show the top 12 that kind of won, for better or worse, that competition. They'll show during that Discover show, along with other very, very young designers who are just sort of just getting started. Incubate is Saturday afternoon as well. That one is in partnership with the ACC Fashion Incubator. It's I think they're at 9 or 10 designers that are showing that are either in the current cohort with the Fashion Incubator or alumni of. So they've gotten incredible training through that program. It's a 2-year program. That really helps them build into the industry and really kind of helps them decide if they want to be a fashion designer, to be honest. And then finally, the show that Sam is in is sort of I never say favorite, but kind of my favorite. It's called Ode to the OGs. It's we do something different to kind of close out every season. This one is, I think we're at 15 designers, all people who I have worked with many, many times over the years, and just people who I think have really built the fashion industry here in Austin. And there's several names who are not on it who have also done that. I want to be clear, just for scheduling purposes. Like it didn't work out for them to show, and I wish I could show literally everybody. We just can't. But this is a group of about 15 designers that just, if you really want to see like what sort of at least the last like 20 years of history in Austin fashion looks like, that's a really great show to just kind of, get a feel for what that grouping looks like.
Yeah, this is exciting. I'm here for all the themes. I think one of the things, it kind of falls in line with Earth Day or Earth Week. How is Austin Fashion Week supporting sustainability, especially with all the talk about fast fashion and all the clothes that end up in the landfill? What are the new practices within the fashion industry?
Yeah, Sam might actually speak to this even more. I mean, she's already spoken to it a little bit with what she does. I think every designer now, though, they have a focus on this. And I think it used to be a very intentional focus. Like they had to really think about like, how am I going to be sustainable? And I think one of the best things that I have seen over the last even like 5 years has been, it's just natural practice now. Like for instance, like Brittany Allen, who is a pretty major designer from here in Austin, she does a lot of athleisure, but like she doesn't waste even a scrap of fabric. Like if a scrap ends up on the floor, she will turn it into something. She makes like hair ties and she'll make whatever, right? So there's not a single piece of fabric. And I think she even just like throws them into people's packages when they order something. Like it's just a way to ensure that none of that ends up in a landfill. There's that. And then in Austin, there's just a huge amount of upcycling. I feel like, people who buy either vintage clothing and then rework it, or like in Sam's case, she just talked about like, she's upcycling even some of her own stuff. Right. So I've seen designers all the time who, they have a piece that didn't sell or whatever, or they didn't love it. Like the prototype or the sample wasn't actually all that well made or whatever. And so they'll take it apart and they'll rework it into something else, or they'll at least like reuse that fabric in something else. And I think even those basic things, they make such a huge difference when exponentially put out there globally. But those are the two things that I think are the easiest, like, low hanging fruit for every designer to do.
Yeah, Sam, we're looking at some of your designs. I was gonna say, we're looking at some of Sam's designs. I'd love to talk about sustainability with you too.
Yeah, so just like Matt mentioned, and me, reusing and upcycling in a sense from my past collections. I mean, a lot of these pieces too, that I create sample sizes and either they don't work, they didn't sell, maybe the fabrication wasn't right. You'll see some of those in next collections. This new collection that I'm going to showcase on the 20th is actually going to have, kind of like almost like scraps. So you'll see mixed, prints. Maybe it was used for a pocket. I had half of a yard of it and I didn't want it to go to waste. So making sure that I'm able to use every piece and kind of create something a little bit new with it if it didn't work out in the past collection. And that doesn't happen always. I mean, my last collection that I did on the runway with Matt was such a success. And I had maybe a little bit of that fabric and I still kind of wanted to use it. It was this collection that I used a lot of red plaid, and it's just one of those things that it's just a classic that everyone loves. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that with some checkered denim that I'm using this new collection. So kind of just experimenting with things like that and making sure that you walk into my sewing room and it's just really threads. It's not a lot of scraps. So I try to reuse as much as I can. Like I mentioned, the Tyvek, I was able to get that, and they recycle. This is all Tyvek right here. It's paper. So literally just painting on the paper, making it fun and unique. One of these pieces that it's not posted here, but I collaborated with an actual artist. So he painted on the Tyvek as well. So just, doing something new and fun and exciting. I will say the Tyvek is a little bit harder to reach out. I used a lot of the Tyvek for, magazine publications. I sent some pieces to a Korean pop artist. So things like that. It's more like those show pieces, but it's really fun to make. It gets my wheels going, and, I'm super excited to be showcasing again. And I think this is going to be it for me, getting my wheels going again. I felt like, I turned into a mom and I kind of went in a hiatus and working and letting it get caught up, but finally getting back into my groove. So I'm super excited. Just seeing my, the designs on here, I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice. It's pretty cool.
Well, and your kids are probably super excited to see you in action.
Oh, my daughter she went into the sewing room. She hadn't seen any of the pieces yet. And she goes, whoa, Mom, this is probably the coolest stuff. I hope you're accessorizing this with nose rings and cool. I'm like, okay, we're on the same page. she's only 6 years old, but the artist and the creativity is definitely in her. So it's really fun to see. And then, we show her clips from when I was on Project Runway. It's a good feeling when you have that extra support, especially when they're so small and they're like, wow, I can do anything. So it's pretty cool.
I'm always a big fan of Austin Fashion Week. Allison and I walked, I guess, was it 2 years ago, a year and a half ago?
We strutted.
Yeah, we strutted. That's right. And what's great about that is I ended up making friends with Miranda. She's Velvet Outlaw, and she actually made me a jacket for an event this past year. And she's made me another thing too. So I just encourage everyone out there to just go check out the designers. You just never know what you'll be inspired by, and maybe work with Sam and some of these designers out there, because it's just amazing. I love all the things that I've seen at Austin Fashion Week.
Thanks, JC. And and on that note, like I still get 16 years in, I get even close friends of mine, they're like, fashion, like I'm intimidated. Like, no, like I can't go sit at a runway show. Like, what would I wear? I mean, that's literally like, and Sam, I guarantee you get that exact same thing, right? Yeah. And I think John Carlos and Allison, y'all can probably vouch for this. Like, I know you're on TV, and so like you're kind of used to a spotlight, but at the end of the day, like, you just like, if you like, do you like to go to a museum? Like, do you like to like go look at art on a wall in a gallery? Like, it's no different, right? Like, the difference is that it's on a live person and so much more interactive. And so to me, it's more about like, when we put shows together, I like to think of it as, if you were to poll every person in the audience, like, who was your favorite that you just saw, that like every designer would get mentioned about the same number of times, right? Because like what might be my aesthetic or something that I love, it's all so subjective, right? Like I might not wear something that Sam would make, or I might, but it doesn't make it any better or worse for me or for anybody else, right? Like, I just think it's such an opportunity to support literally hundreds of people when you talk about hairstylists, makeup artists, models, like all the number of people that it takes to put that out there. And you're JC. You just don't know who you're going to run into, right? You're going to run into a designer that you never even knew that you would even be friends with a fashion designer or something. And then all of a sudden, like you realize like, oh, we have similar interests and whatever other thing. They just happen to make clothes for a living, which is so cool, right?
I met Miranda through her husband. He was wearing this really cool denim fringe with armadillos, and I was like, I love your shirt. And he's like, my wife made it. And I was like, who's your wife? She's like, oh, and then I was like, oh my god, the fashion designer that was just in the show we were in. Like, it's so cool how you get to meet people. So I definitely encourage, if you've never been to Austin Fashion Week, go check it out, because it's art you can wear. I love it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not intimidating. And when we've talked about this in the past, Matt, making it really welcoming for everyone, so you don't feel like, oh, you're not fancy enough to be here. Like, it's very inviting, especially with it being at the Domain and outside. It's air. It's just like a fun thing to do also.
Yeah, and to even bring your kids to. I mean, I guarantee you, Sam's kids are going to be there. Her 6-year-old is going to be running around. Like, I mean, it's at the Domain, it's outside. Like, and we've always wanted to welcome that. I mean, my daughter, who is now 16 and a junior in high school, and has shown, she got the bug when she was little. She walked on a runway for us when she was 2, and now she's designing and has been for like 8 years now. And she'll show on the runway, and like. She wouldn't be there. I mean, obviously I'm her dad, but like, she wouldn't be there if we didn't, allow her and other kids to, like, to me, like, people ask all the time, is it appropriate for my child to be there? I'm like, of course. Like, there's no reason not to. Like, to me, like, whoever wants to be inspired or see something unique or just be part of it, we've always wanted all of that, right?
Yeah. Get them started young.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. I do have one tiny request. 5 years ago, I was in the dog fashion runway, and I would love to do that again. I have a new Frenchie puppy that would love to be on the runway. We'll see.
The oat dogs, the hot dogs.
Yeah.
That was one of my better moments of marketing right there.
Yeah.
Loved it.
That's fun. Well, very cool. Is there anything else that we want to let our anyone watching know before the big couple days?
Yeah, big few days. Yeah, no, just I think we touched on it there. Like, everyone is welcome. We hope everybody can just come join and support, and buy a ticket or stand around or whatever it is that kind of floats your boat to get you involved in this industry. It really is special here in Austin.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for talking with us, Matt and Sam. We're excited to see the shows.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, and we'll have more. We'll probably have a little bit more coverage coming up on our morning show, 4:30 to 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. It gets going the 18th. You said, right? Austin Fashion Week starts on the 18th.
Next Thursday. That's right.
I know. Don't make me think about dates right now. It's
And we'll make sure to put something up on the website, cbsaustin.com, pretty soon, so you guys can find the link. Or just Google Austin Fashion Week, I'm sure it will come up. But it's great. I love this. This is such a fun event. I've done 2 shows, one with you, Alli, one with my dog Sanibel, and it's just always a party. It's always a party. Definitely
it's fun to watch. I like how Matt put it as like almost like a living museum. You're literally seeing this art move, and you just get to sit there and enjoy it. It's so much fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah.
Bye.